For this episode, Lorelle and I did a deep dive into a classic from the early 2000s, The Bee Movie. Starring Jerry Seinfeld and Renee Zellweger, one of the weirdest combinations since pickles and peanut butter, this strange animated film was quickly adapted by meme culture and has become a source of nostalgia for many 90s babies. All that aside, does this film stink or sting? Join Lorelle and I to find out. Welcome back, everyone, to Effing It Up, your favorite film and media podcast. Hopefully, I don't really know how many are out there, but thank you for being here.
Fewer by the day.
What? Ma'am?
What do you think I do on the weekends?
You do this podcast with me.
Yeah, and then I go out and I take out our enemies. If you're not with us, you're against us, film podcasters out there.
Your energy is giving Anakin Skywalker.
I love Anakin Skywalker.
Oh my gosh.
He's
okay.
the hero of those movies. Right?
Sure.
Without him, the Force would have been unbalanced. He was necessary.
Do you want to know who else is unbalanced?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Without Anakin, Star Wars doesn't happen.
Yeah, but this week...
Paramount.
We do love Anakin Skywalker, but this week we are talking about a different anti-hero, and that is Barry Benson, the star of Bee Movie.
Oh, no. We're scrapping it. We're not doing this.
We have to. We've committed. We watched the movie, Lorelle.
You've already recorded an intro.
Yep.
There's no going back.
Where do I even start?
God have mercy.
I think I pretty much covered everything that I needed to cover in the intro.
Did you do a mini synopsis? I wasn't listening,
right.
so... I don't know.
I didn't do one yet, but
okay, well, now's your time.
Thank you for reminding me and proving that you never listened to anything I said.
Hey, I was busy not listening. So.
You were busy vibing over
I was
there by yourself. So, I'm just going to give a really tiny summary and say that this movie is about a bee. That's all I really want to say because there's just too much. This is a movie about a bee who discovers the truth about honey production and battles with his own sense of existential despair.
That's actually very profound.
That's as accurate a description as I give, but now let's just jump right into our rankings.
Let's buzz right into those rankings.
Let's buzz right in. And that's what you get for taking the obvious joke. Every time you take the obvious joke in a situation, I'm going to make you regret it.
You know what? This is making me remember that they have, like, a bee version of, like, Martin Luther King, right? Don't they?
Yeah.
And I'm now
Larry
thinking...
King.
Bee Larry King, that's what it was. And I'm now thinking that they never mentioned...
You said Martin Luther King.
Hey, I remembered it was a king. That's could have been... my neighbor, Daniel Lee King, for all I know. That's beside the point. Shout out to Daniel Lee King.
Have a bee civil rights movement.
Hey, well that's getting ahead of ourselves. Clearly they do have different cultures within the bee world though, because they had a Spanish exchange student. So there are different bee cultures, apparently.
When did they have a Spanish exchange student?
Maybe I'm imagining that. No, they had an announcement in English and in Spanish.
Oh my gosh.
I'm inventing the sequel right now.
Perfect.
All of that to say...
Bee Movie 2.
I can't believe they had who did you say? Larry B. King.
Bee Larry King.
And they didn't mention their own version of, like, Buzz Aldrin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's...
Bees on the moon.
Bees on the moon. Oh my gosh.
All right. Were you trying to go somewhere?
I was just gonna say...
Buzz into our...
I was just gonna say, let's move, not buzz. Category number 1. Writing.
So sorry. Okay.
Take it away, B. Lorelle.
I'm happy to take it away. The writing in this movie is so bonkers. My gosh.
It was
It's
cuckoo bananas.
It was cuckoo bananas. But here is the thing. Am I projecting my plosives into the mic again? But
I don't know, probably.
Sorry, microphone. It was so intentional, though. Like, it was absolutely insane. But they get away with it, I think, a little bit, just because it was on purpose, and I give them credit for that.
This movie has one of the most unhinged and chaotic plots
Yeah.
that I've ever seen.
It's
in
got
my
like
entire
5
life.
plots, one after the other. It's like you watch 5 movies within, 90 minutes, however long this movie is.
Like, let me just, I know I did the baby summary, but let me just hit a couple plot points for anybody who hasn't seen
please.
this cinematic masterpiece.
You guys missed out.
So first, Barry is like, I have to pick a career in honey production. And then he leaves the nest.
Because he doesn't want to do one job for the rest of his life.
Yeah, God forbid. Is that a critique on, the American workforce? I'm like, I don't know. Could be anything. We don't know what the motivation in writing this movie was.
I don't know, man.
I think the only motivation for this movie was... And
another one of those.
Yeah, another one of those. What are the other plot points that happens? He meets a human.
He meets a human woman.
It's kind of implied that there's, some chemistry between the bee.
Is it implied? She, leaves her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, so he meets this human florist. Then he discovers the truth about honey production. He has to track down a bee farm.
He has to, fight some answers out of this, guy with a bulletin board tech, a thumbtack. He's like, it's a conspiracy thriller.
And then it becomes a courtroom drama. Because he decides to sue the human race.
Yeah.
For stealing honey from bees.
And in case we blow past that too quickly, let me just repeat. He decides to sue the human race. Just let that sink in.
The bee decides to sue the human race with the help of the woman that he's in love with. Again, like Lorelle said, at some point during this, the woman leaves her boyfriend for the bee, says the line out loud, "He happens to be the nicest bee that I've met in a very long time." And the boyfriend, voiced by Patrick Warburton, is the only one going, "What does that even mean? He's a bee!" I gotta give this movie credit. I have not laughed that hard at a movie in a really long time.
We had a really good time watching this movie. It's true. I had so much more fun with it than most of the other films we've watched.
It was absolutely bizarre. I was giggling the whole time we were watching it because it was so dumb.
So out there.
There's a part where little... And I haven't even mentioned, I haven't even mentioned that the bee is voiced by Jerry Seinfeld, which just adds a whole nother level to it. So at one point, they're walking through the store, and Barry, this little bee, is sitting on this woman's shoulder, and they're just talking about, bees versus humans, and Jerry Seinfeld goes, yeah, bees experience all the same emotions that humans do. Yeah. Anger, jealousy, lust.
I'd like to imagine that after every day of writing, all of the writers, in unison just line up and go to their nearest Catholic confessional. It's so insane.
Lorelle, how many writers were there on this movie?
Well, according to Google, it listed 16. Now that's hilarious. I don't know if that's true though. I didn't verify that. So let's zero in on the implication that all animals are sentient and can speak and understand human language. Think about that for a second.
Do we have to? Because the writers sure didn't.
Every cow being milked, every cat being gooched, every horse being ridden, they're all sentient with human emotions. What the heck?
It's a horror. When you get right down to it, it's a horror movie.
It's a horror story. The implications of
it's
just
horrifying.
That, it's staggering.
And that just shows you, Just how little thought went into this world building.
Forget the bee human romance. I'm over that. Like,
you're over that?
I've moved on. I've accepted it. It's fine.
It's like you saying that is like the quote in Community where she goes, I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty.
Yeah, exactly.
Shirley goes, you can excuse racism? You've gotten over the human
bestiality. The bestiality. But like, oh my gosh. The implications go far beyond the...
You're just concerned about everybody else in this world.
Horrifying. Yeah. Any sequel to this film could only be within the horror genre. The implications are just way too terrifying.
Well, that's why this film genre jumps, like you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying it's, like you said, it starts out as star-crossed lovers story, and then it becomes a conspiracy thriller, political courtroom drama, and then it evolves into, like, a dystopian, like a kid's movie take on dystopia, like, it is so wild.
The flowers are all dying because the bees aren't doing anything.
It's like you think they have this courtroom case and that would be the climax of the movie, and it's not. It's just another plot point.
If that's like 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Like, it's the pacing is just, it's like watching 5 movies on a speed run. It's just so, guys, it's so entertaining. Bottom line is, this movie is bonkers, but they knew it.
Oh, yeah. Does that bring us to our next category, Lorelle?
Yeah, I think I'm done talking about the writing, because, like, it was so intentionally bizarre that I can't even fault it.
Yeah.
Should we give our ratings?
Yeah, what's your rating?
B.
I gave the writing a C for carnal lust and bestiality.
For the fact that a bee in a kid's movie uses the word lust in the first place.
Yeah, that's why it gets a C.
Like, maybe lust isn't the word that makes it into kids' movies.
Yeah,
just a thought,
that's probably the only quote-unquote kids movie that I've heard that word used in before, and I was deeply uncomfortable.
Right.
And I'm 25, so for that reason, it's getting a C, but I agree with everything that you said. I can't complain about it being bonkers when it was clearly so intentionally done.
And it was so entertaining.
It was so entertaining. Category number 2, acting.
C.
I don't think this movie would have worked with any other voice actors. Honestly, I really think that the casting was so perfect.
Do you like jazz?
Do you like jazz? Like, Jerry Seinfeld as this creepy little bee just works so well. Mostly because Seinfeld is kind of a creep in real life, so it just works. Somehow he plays this wide-eyed bee, and it just makes sense. Like, I truly cannot describe it. Mathew Broderick as his best friend is, like, entertaining. It's kind of interesting because... if you know Mathew Broderick, one of his most famous roles is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Mm-hmm. But essentially in this movie, Jerry Seinfeld is playing the Ferris Bueller character, and Mathew Broderick is playing his best friend, Cameron, but just as bees.
Yeah, bees.
That's my little Ferris Bueller sidebar. And Renee Zellweger, I mean, what a delight. Her voice is so iconic, like, and... I don't know. She plays this unhinged florist that just seems to have no problem with talking bees or a bee romance really well.
She's the first human to hear a bee speak in the history of the universe, and she's just kind of like, oh, okay.
I do really like that she stabs her hand with a fork.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm not dreaming? Okay. Bees talk.
Yeah.
Let's sue the human race, Barry.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
I mean, maybe...
My Friday's open.
Honestly, maybe my world would also be turned upside down by hearing something that defied nature. So, I don't know. Maybe she was just... Maybe this was her coping mechanism.
Maybe. Her coping mechanism was to fall in love.
Yeah,
with a bee. Okay, my favorite... I know you're not done yet, but I just want to say my favorite voice actor is... I don't know how to say his name. Patrick Warburton.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah.
I should have looked up pronunciation.
No, you said it right. Yeah.
He's been in so many different kids' movies, and every single time I'm just like, oh, this guy's hilarious.
He's so funny.
He's so funny.
More of Patrick Warburton in
Yeah,
everything.
in
honestly.
everything.
I support that.
I've never seen him in a role that didn't make me laugh.
Yeah.
I was just like, anyway, he's great.
Love that. Love Chris Rock as the mosquito.
Yeah. Yeah. Like 20-second, what am I trying to say? 20-second mosquito cameo.
Yeah, with Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
John Goodman plays the psycho lawyer.
Yeah, he needs to get 6 stars for his performance.
Are you two bedbugs? Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about the acting except it's good. There really isn't anything for me to critique.
No, it was like, it was so unhinged, like perfectly unhinged, matches the writing perfectly. Like, I think they went into those recording booths and were like, hold my beer, I got this.
What a fun movie to record.
Seriously, I feel like they were probably in those booths trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
And that comes through, like, you can tell, like, that's how you know you're making something, if not good, something that will last in the consciousness of the people.
So do you want to hear my grade for acting?
Cult classic, yeah.
A B.
You want to hear my grade for acting? B.
Oh! We're just moving right along this week, guys. But
we're gonna have to go off on some more tangents. We're gonna be we're gonna be done with this in 10 minutes.
Perfect, I'm tired.
Fair enough.
Category number 3! Directing! Welcome to my wheelhouse, and I have no idea how to even describe directing for an animated movie, because honestly it is really different. Like,
I agree.
Like, I was like, the casting is perfect.
Absolutely. A++.
The only thing I could critique the director on is probably, like, more so, I just want to ask the question, why?
Can I read you this quote that I read you earlier?
Please do.
Can I read this?
Yeah.
Because I was Googling stuff about this movie. Oh, dang it, now my independent.co.uk is loading. Here we go. Back in 2017, one of the film's writers, Spike Feresten, noted, I don't know if I said his name right, sorry Spike if you're listening, noted that while people are generally either, quote, entertained or repulsed by the story, a, quote, interspecies love affair isn't something they wanted to sell to children. You did a bad job of it. He added, often we would lose sight of those characters in the room. They would just be Barry and Vanessa, and we would write this dialogue for Barry and Vanessa, and read it over and have to remind ourselves, well, this is a tiny bee saying this, and the tiny bee is fighting with her boyfriend, so let's dial it back to friend and make it less romantic, because it's getting weird. Guys, the movie we got is the dialed back version.
That makes me
need to know.
I want to watch the director's cut of the B movie. Release the Snyder cut of the B movie. We need it. I want to see Barry and Vanessa hit the sack. I'm going to have to edit so much out of this podcast.
I need to know.
I want to know just how far this love affair went.
I'm just like, I'm losing it, man. That's just...
It's so funny. I do need to bring up...
How is that the dialed back version?
I don't know, but I do need to bring up then when I told my brother Jack that we were watching this movie, he was like, oh my gosh. He's like, have you read the Barry and Vanessa fan fiction that exists?
No!
You should read that on the podcast. And I was like, Truthfully, I'd rather die than do that to our audience, because they have been with us through a lot.
They've suffered enough.
They've
had
suffered
to listen
enough.
to us.
They've suffered loyally with us, and we thank them for it. And
we don't want to do that to them.
We're not going to read B-movie fan fiction to them.
Thanks for the idea, though. Thanks.
Shout out to Jack for the great idea.
Shout out to Jack. It was a great idea, but we just, the producers said no.
Yeah. We said not today. Not today, Satan. Not today.
Is there a B version of Satan? Oh,
oh
gosh.
They did make a reference to Be Jesus.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they?
Which I was like, I don't know what to do with that.
They also heavily implied that all bees are Jews, which was really weird and uncomfortable
there was
when
definitely some interesting racial, ethnic, religious coding happening.
Yeah, when his mom was like, here's that Barry is seeing a woman, she's like, I hope she's bee-ish.
And I was like, Jewish?
And then,
it would make sense because Jerry Seinfeld himself is Jewish.
Doesn't make sense.
It would make sense if he was a writer on the movie.
You know what?
I was only saying it makes sense.
Yeah, I know.
Where that came from. Doesn't make sense in the context of the movie.
I fully understand.
Also, there's some weird thing about the uncle being like shacking up with a cricket.
Ew, right? I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
And
this movie is unhinged.
Literally said, quote unquote, those legs keep you up all night.
Oh my gosh. This is a kid's movie, guys.
In
theory.
I almost quoted another creator's content. So I did not do that. Stop myself. But yeah, kids movie.
What the heck?
I was like, this isn't even innuendos at this point.
No.
This is just, these are...
Yeah.
The whole movie, the characters talk like the uncle that you don't let around your kids at family get-togethers.
For good reason.
Because you're like, I don't know what Uncle Gary's gonna say, but don't let the kids near him.
I'm trying to decide if how much of it was ad-libbed in the recording booth, and whether that makes it better or worse if it's just off the top of their heads.
That's a really good point. Can you look up the stats? How much of the B movie was ad-libbed?
I'll Google it. I don't know if we'll find anything.
Hey, Google!
Oh
no, there it is.
The B... Oh.
Dang it.
Dang it. Was the B dang it?
No.
I'll let you do it.
Oh, it closed out of my...
I just want to say, my opinion on the directing is that I really don't know what to say other than that there was really a unified vision of insanity. And, I mean, you know what? We're still quoting the B movie now, however many years later.
You like jazz?
They really went into that movie with, anything goes kind of an attitude, and, now we're still... Everyone knows about the B movie, even if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Are there other bugs in your life? We all know the movie. We all I
just gotta give them so much credit.
It's lived on in the social consciousness, whether we want it to or not. It's there.
They did exactly what they wanted to do.
They totally did.
I don't know if I condone the ethics behind the creation of this movie. It sort of is like Frankenstein's monster. You're like, well, this was clearly a scientific experiment gone horribly wrong, but at some point you have to admire the fact that it just worked.
Or horribly right. I don't know.
They played God and they made the B movie.
Right. And they didn't run away from it, unlike Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah, they're like, this is our child and we will stand by it, whatever the cost.
Whatever the cost.
So what was your grade for directing?
I just want to say, one final thing. Not to beat a dead horse, as the saying goes, but...
No, please do.
Not to sting a dead horse, but... But I just would like to talk to whoever directed that movie, and I'm not even sure who it was.
No idea.
I didn't look it up, so sorry if, whoever's not getting credit. What was your vision, your genre vision? Other than just obviously ridiculousness, which, fine, whatever, but, how did you pitch this? Kids' movie is not a genre.
Well, you see, it's a B. He's a bee and he's in love.
He's a bee.
And he has an existential crisis. And he's going to sue the human race.
We're going to critique capitalism, but then we're going to say we need it.
Yeah.
What was the message?
I truly have no idea.
Regardless.
To this day, I have no idea what the message was.
Regardless, directing B.
B minus.
B minus.
Again,
this is a little stinger.
For the bestiality.
The bestiality. That's valid. That's valid.
Category number 4. Visuals. That was a really long pause. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can never remember what our
Dramatic
categories are.
pause.
I look
That's
into,
why I was like trying to cue you up with a V.
Sign
language V.
I look into Lorelle's eyes and I just lose myself.
That's because I'm sending her ESP of blank noise, white noise. It's like telepathy, but it's just like, it's just like a high-pitched violin sound. Instead of telepathically communicating actual language, I just send you like a crackling TV screen. Someone like rubbing 2 sheets of tinfoil together.
That would absolutely make me fall asleep, I think. Maybe not the tinfoil, but like the white noise, definitely.
Oh, visuals. Oh, hang on, my notes disappeared for a second.
You liked this, right? It was colorful.
Yeah, it was colorful. I didn't dislike the visuals. I thought that they were not bad. I particularly liked when we were in the dystopia part of the movie.
Yeah.
When it
was gray?
Yeah. No, wait. Hold on, let me finish. I'm gonna
let you finish, Taylor.
What's I'm gonna do? Wait. When it transitioned from the dystopia back to like the flowers, they did some creative animation there.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was, other than like the design of the bee world, that was probably the most creative animation choices that I saw. So it was pretty functional.
Yeah.
But like the bee world was well visualized, I thought.
It was so cute too. I think
it was okay.
Honestly, I think if you watch this movie on mute and had no idea what they were saying, you would be like, oh, what fun, warm animation, like nice pastels.
Yeah.
Like,
the honey pool.
It really had a similar animation style to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which I really enjoy. So I think if it wasn't such an unhinged story...
How dare you compare Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs to this movie?
I'm sorry.
That movie is peak cinema.
It is. I know it's peak cinema, Lorelle. I'm just saying, like, this animation
This movie
style,
is peak cinema in a different universe.
In the darkest timeline.
In the darkest timeline.
This is our best movie.
I just want to say that, like, I thought it was all well visualized, but I'm not, like, dying to, become a bee and a serving member of bee society and, like, bee capitalism. Like, in a weird way, their bee world didn't look very, like... Appealing to me, yeah. Like, I don't know, it was all very well visualized, like you said, cozy colors. And,
it was, like, a nice office.
But it was,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That sums it up perfectly.
Maybe this was more of a capitalist critique than we thought it was.
I don't know, because in the end, when they, like, give up on capitalism, then everyone is listless and disappointed, and then the flowers die, so it's kind of like...
So is it, like, critiquing communism?
I don't know. It's kind of like they critique capitalism, and then they're like, actually, you need capitalism. So I don't know what the moral was.
Yeah.
I remember watching this movie a long time ago and being confused about that as well, like, because they have, like, this triumphant moment of winning the case against the human race, and then they're like, that was a bad thing. And now I'm mad at you, even though I helped you bring this case.
That was your least favorite part.
It was so annoying to me.
Yeah.
She, like, helps him sue the human race, and then she's like, you suck.
I personally just think that Vanessa is unwell.
She's unwell. Well, anyone who is dating a bee probably isn't too mentally, like, sound. Yeah. But yeah, I want to say, like, the animation technology looks a bit dated, but not, like... It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's all functional and, like...
It holds up fine.
What they were trying to do, I think they did it well, but it's not like, Frozen, where you're like, wow, I wish I could just, like, dance among those sparkling tree branches or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like, I want to run up those steps. I'm watching the Bee Movie and I'm like, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not in this world of sin.
Yeah, exactly. Also, you, like, bring up, what's his name again? The guy who voices the lawyer for the humans.
Oh, John Goodman?
John Goodman. I'm just, like, thinking back to that scene where he gets stung, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't have to animate that.
Yeah.
They went a little too hard on that.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying the giant butt in the camera. Like.
I do really love when he's waddling around and there's the baby, like, roller with a hole cut out for the sting part of his butt.
Okay, you're right. That was kind of funny.
I think there was some visual little jokes that I liked. Like, just, there was more effort in this movie than what there needed to be. Given the subject material.
You're so right. Here's the thing, I think, where my issue is, I like when animated films are pretty. So, like, for me, I'm not, like, in love with this animation style, but I also didn't like Shrek. And I think based on, like, how everyone loves Shrek, I'm clearly the odd one out here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is more of a personal thing than like, those animators knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else on that movie, they knew what they were doing a little too well. It was all very intentional.
Yeah, it's like it's exactly the end product that they wanted.
Yeah.
That scares me.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
They looked at their creation and they said, this is good.
They looked at their monster on the table and they patted each other on the back and said, crack open the champagne.
He's wonderful.
He's wonderful. Our son. Our child. Behold.
And everybody else is going.
I mean, I just gotta give them props because they got what they wanted.
Yep.
Good for them.
What's your final grade?
B. Oh, what's your final grade?
B.
I started labeling all the categories B as a joke, and then I was like, actually, this is accurate.
So, with all that said and done, does that bring us to our final grades?
Final grades? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your final grade, Maya?
A crisp B minus.
Yeah. I forgot to write down a final grade, but...
Did you give all Bs?
I gave all Bs as a joke, and then I was like, I actually believe this, so I think it has to be a B.
It's a B.
Mathematically speaking.
Yeah.
Maya doesn't like when I grade things with my heart.
With this one, I will make an exception.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way to grade this.
I like that you've graded a B with a minus, because that kind of looks like a stinger.
Yeah.
It's like a little... It's like Mathew Broderick.
Little
stinger.
His little
stinging the lawyer.
Little prosthetic.
Oh, yeah, his little prosthetic stinger.
Which is a little pink sandwich sword.
Yeah.
With celery on it.
The way that they, like, seed it in from the beginning that most bees die once they sting shows a level of foresight and like, lampshading that I didn't think this movie was capable of. Yeah. Anyway. Overall, a movie.
It was a movie. It was, you know, the thing that I love about it is that it was a real movie. It really felt like a movie.
I finally get a reference that Maya's making. And you know what? I want to come to, who was that, Harry Styles?
Yes.
I want to come to his defense. I feel like I get what he was saying.
Oh, no, I did too. But it was so funny.
It was pretty funny.
Also, I don't know if we said this yet, but I think we need to address the fact that this movie, this unhinged, chaotic movie,
yes,
we rated it higher than La La Land.
And we were right to do so.
Yeah, I stand by it. I stand by the decision.
I stand by that decision.
Because I actually had fun watching this movie.
Dang it. She's hit the nail on the head, ladies and gents.
That's me saying that the bees have won the court case and they have sued the human race.
I felt like we were being sued when we watched La La Land. That's how happy I was watching that movie. Listen, the Bee Movie is unhinged. It's worrisome. It's a horror movie dressed up in candy colors. But it is entertaining.
And that's why, on today's episode of Effing It Up, Lorelle and I are recommending to all of you, ages 13 plus, to watch the kids movie if you have not already.
Don't allow kids to watch this
kids
movie.
Above all things, do not let children watch the kids movie. It is... I cannot stress enough, this is not made for children.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I think that's true. It didn't actually feel like a kid's movie at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't remotely child-oriented.
It's for someone who wants to have a good time.
Yeah, it's very entertaining.
Yeah.
Be entertained. Stay up at night thinking about the implications.
Because there's a lot of implications.
There are a lot of implications. And we didn't get into all of them just because I was like, nope, we're keeping this podcast light and fluffy.
And keeping it
G-rated.
Trying to keep it G-rated.
Okay, well, not PG-13 rated.
PG-13 rated. I might have to bleep a couple things out.
Yeah. Like the entire synopsis.
Anyway. That sums up our March episode, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I think this one might be shorter. You might be noticing that the movies we like, we have a little bit less to say about. Because we're like, well, you succeeded in what you wanted to do.
They succeeded. You know, we finished La La Land being disappointed and annoyed, and we finished the B movie being stunned and, having laughed our heads off.
Yeah.
So think about the emotional goals of your script, I guess.
Yeah.
And whether or not you achieve them, because... Yeah.
It was a spicy take.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying, it was a B movie. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of that.
We gave it a solid B.
Maybe I'm a little ashamed of that. Solid B.
Anyway, beautiful, wonderful Feral listeners, thank you for joining us once again. I hope you were as entertained by our review of this movie as we were watching this movie.
I'm not sure that's possible.
You're right. That's a pretty high bar to set.
I
hope you have a mediocre time listening to this.
I hope you have, a mediocre time listening to this. I hope it does. You just edit that out. I was going to reference La La Land again, and I was like, Lorelle, this isn't about La La Land.
This isn't about La La Land,
This isn't
Lorelle.
about that.
It's about the B movie. Mic drop.
Don't drop these mics. We need them.
I know. They're our soul.
They are our bread and butter. All of the money we're making off of this podcast.
Ooh.
That's a lie. We're doing this for passion.
I was like, do you hear that? That's the sound of 0 coins.
0 coins.
But if you're enjoying this podcast, you can follow us on Effing It Up on Instagram, or you can watch us on YouTube, also Effing It Up. Again, we're pretty easy to find. Shocking that no one else has tried to steal this name.
Yeah. Go watch us on YouTube so you can start arguments in the comments section.
Oh, yes, please. We'd love that. If you are an incel, we will block you. But, feel free to show up and watch. Anyway, thanks again, guys. Happy spring. And we will see you next time on Effing It Up. Keep it feral.
Be feral.
Be feral.